Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I stand today to discuss and strongly support my bill S-101, the State and Local Government Bailout Prevention Act. And I would urge all of us to unite to pass this bill expeditiously. Let me briefly explain what it's about. I first introduced this bill, Mr. President, in early 2011. February 2011, because two things were happening. First of all, several significant state and local entities were teetering on the verge of bankruptcy. And Mr. President, at the same time, the federal government, things in Washington were in a horrible state fiscally, such that we could clearly not afford to take on more spending, more debt, more responsibility. So I wanted to pass legislation that would make it crystal clear. We, the Congress, nor the Treasury Department, nor the Federal Reserve, nor any other federal entity were going to bail out state or local governments which had acted irresponsibly and tipped into bankruptcy. Now, Mr. President, things have not gotten better since then. In fact, things in many ways have gotten worse. And very recently, just in the last few weeks, Detroit, the city of Detroit, filed for bankruptcy, the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history. Other large states and local communities are teetering on the verge of bankruptcy. Many states in horrible fiscal situations like California and Illinois. Meanwhile, Mr. President, we are not in a fundamentally sounder place here in Washington at the federal level. Even if we stick to the Budget Control Act numbers, and that's very much up in the air, but even if we stick to those numbers, Congress will spend $967 billion in discretionary money this year, and that'll result in an $810 billion deficit, almost $1 trillion deficit this year. This nation total is almost $17 trillion in debt. And the Federal Reserve, its balance sheet has swollen from $800 billion in August of 2007 to over $3.5 trillion today. And so, Mr. President, now more than ever, S-101, the State and Local Government Bailout Prevention Act, is appropriate, is needed. And that's why I come to the floor today to urge expeditious passage of S-101. This bill is very simple, basic, straightforward, but important. It would basically do four things. First, it would prohibit the use of federal funds to bail out state and local government budgets. Secondly, it would prevent the Federal Reserve from providing assistance to or creating a facility to help, again, state and local government in a bailout situation. Third, it would prevent Congress and the Treasury Department from bailing out state and local governments. And fourth, there is specific language so we don't create any confusion that this is not intended to stop or deter or interfere with appropriate assistance in declared disaster areas. That's the sum and substance of it. S-101, the State and Local Government Bailout Prevention Act. Again, Mr. President, when you look at situations like Detroit, the largest ever municipal bankruptcy, and when you look at our fiscal situation in Washington at the federal level, this clear statement, this clear bar of the feds bailing out state and local government is very, very much needed. And so I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Development be discharged from further consideration of S-101, and the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration, and that the bill be read a third time and pass, the motion to reconsider be considered and made and laid upon the table.